welcome to Baseball Betsy and Ross Baseball Talk. It's been a while since the last episode, but it's a new season, so let's get into it. Unless you've been living in a cave for the last week, there's no way you could have missed the Bryce Harper deal.
That's right, Betsy. It's real exciting times down here. Certainly a change from recent spring trainings. We've been coming down here for quite a few years now, and now we live down here, so we've lived with the best of times and the worst of times.
Did you really think he was going to sign?
I did not. I was already looking for for replacements in right field. I was looking at Dylan Cousins. I even came up with the idea of platooning Yanni Hernandez with Dylan Cousins because they have good splits against opposite side pitching. But it looks like that was all for naught.
Because we got Harper. I thought we were going to get him for the longest time. Then over the weekend when they said Middleton's plane had gone to Vegas and it came back without him, I thought, well, I didn't really think it was going to happen. And then by Wednesday evening, if you saw my tweet, I was so fed up with the entire thing. I was like, I don't care if he's going to sign. But then, Thursday, it all changed. And where were we?
We were over here at Old Dunedin Stadium, and we were watching the Phillies take on the Blue Jays, and all of a sudden in the middle innings, around the fifth inning, something happened.
There was a loud rumble. It started off very low and got louder. And it was about where these college guys were sitting, and, well, it was about the seventh inning? And if you've been to Florida at spring training, college guys, sun, beer, end of game, they get rowdy. Ross had said to me that he thought it was a fight, that there might have been a fight down the right field side. And we looked, and suddenly this college guy stands up and says, "We signed Harper! We got him, boys!" And he was so excited. And I looked at Ross and I said, "It's gotta be a prank." I checked the phone, there was nothing there. Then it happened.
I still didn't believe it until I actually checked it on my iPhone, because my man Dylan Cousins was sizzling. He lined a home run down the right field line, almost took the foul pole off, and I said, "Well, there's our right fielder. We won't have Harper, but we got Cousins." But it doesn't look that way. All of a sudden things changed.
After that, I was all in. If you read my post, at that point, I decided I was all in, and I'll go into why at the end of this blog. At this point, we come into Friday morning, and the rumor was that Bryce and his wife and family were flying in from Vegas on the private jet of the Phillies. And I may or may not have gotten a little stalkerish because I found an app that could track the plane. And when I saw that it was getting close to the coast, we're just a few blocks off the Intercoastal Waterway here in Dunedin, not far from Dunedin Stadium, I saw it was getting close, so I went out in the yard. I stood out in the yard and looked up, and there it was. You could see Bryce Force One flying right over our house. Ross had left to take our dog for a walk, and from about 3 houses down, I heard him screaming, "Do you see it? Do you see it?" So it was really kind of neat that we saw him before he even got to land.
We saw the big P on the tail of the plane, and we knew he was definitely in Florida and heading down to St. Pete Clearwater Airport, and it was really something to see, because we felt we were actually in the middle of something happening. It was just thrilling.
It was. I felt like such a giddy little schoolgirl, because I ran around for about 3 hours going, I had the first pictures of Bryce Harper in Clearwater because I had pictures before he landed. I thought that was really fun. The only thing that would have been better is that had he waved as he flew over. But I think when I put this clip in, you'll see that happen, as well as I'll put in the picture that I took as the plane went over. And then yesterday was the press conference.
Yeah, it was a nice presser. We were hoping we could be allowed in Spectrum Field, but turns out we couldn't go into the press conference, so we hurried home from minor league spring training camp and was watching on MLB. I think had it live, and it was quite a good time, because I didn't know Bryce Harper that well. I knew him as an opponent. I never heard him speak much, but he was very articulate. He showed leadership skills. And I was absolutely impressed. It's one of the best press conferences in sports that I've ever listened to, and I knew we had a good one here in Bryce Harper, and I should have known it beforehand, but I'm always a little on the doubting Thomas side, and he had to show me first, and he did. He came through, and it was a 40-minute press conference that left no question in my mind as to what kind of impact player he's going to be for the Phillies for many years in the future.
And I think what impressed me most above his talk about how important family is to him and how they wanted this deal because they want to set down roots, they want to start their family, and they want to stay in the same place, like anybody else does. They don't want to move around from town to town following contracts. That's important to me. But I thought when they asked him about his number, he said there's no way he could take Halliday's number, which by all rights should be retired. He's a Hall of Famer, let's just face it. I'm putting it out there. Halliday's 34, needs to be retired. But he also said that his second choice would have been 7, which had been a number he'd worn previously, but that belonged to Franco, and he didn't even see the point of asking him for the number because that's Franco's number on this team. So he went to his third choice, ironically, number 3.
And both his father and brother wore that when they played baseball, and I guess his brother, we look today as a free agent, so maybe the Phillies can sign him for a little pitching help in the organization. But what really moved me was his father was an iron worker. He carried rebars and helped build parts of Vegas, and that's what my dad was. He was an iron worker and helped build the cooling towers of the nuclear power plants in the lower Susquehanna River Valley. So he felt like he was one of us. And
I think what it all boils down to me, and I had put this in my blog, I guess the night that they signed Bryce, I had this stream of consciousness sort of post, is that, yeah, it's great getting Harper. But for me, once I sat and thought about it, it's not just Harper. Yes, we got a first-tier player, couldn't be better. I think we got the best available player for a reasonable amount of money in this day and age, basically averages out to about $26 million a season, so that's pretty, that's about average for a top-tier player. But the thing is, over the last, 10 years or so, I think the last big free agent we had gone after, ironically, was Halliday, is that in free agency, we've been getting, I don't want to say third-tier players, but let's just say they're journeymen. And if you can't think of their names right now, there's a reason why. I mean, let's face it, there's a certain pitcher who shall not be named and showed up in camp about 25 or 30 pounds overweight and was pretty darn proud of that belly of his. He didn't last but a season, but that's a perfect example of the kind of players we were getting for about 10 years.
But even with Halliday, we saw him in decline. He came down here. I think it was 3 or 4... His final fourth or fifth game of his career was a rehab assignment down here at Roberts Field in
2013.
In 2013, and he was you could tell the end was near, and so even there we didn't get Halliday, in my opinion, at his prime. Even though he pitched well for the first couple of seasons with the perfect game and no hitter, but I think Bryce Harper is going to be around a long time. In 13 years, it's not inconceivable that he will be an impact player and certainly lead the Phillies for a long time with his skill set.
And I think, too, the front office had said at the beginning of this off season that they were going to spend stupid money. They've said that before. They've said, we're going to spend lots of money, we've got a lot of cap money, and then we get these journeymen that really don't produce. And this year, this is what makes it so important to me, and it's not just Harper as a person. It's that they said, we're going to spend money, we're going to do it, and they did. And they went out and they got the best available player. They put good money into it. They locked him up for 13 years. But we're also not so hamstrung and tied to him the way the deal was structured at only about $26 million a year that we have enough money that's available. In 2 years, he who must not be named comes up to be a free agent, that we might have enough money that we can go get him. And then we're going to have a dynasty that's going to rival anything that those Yankees have ever put out, I think.
Absolutely. I think that's the key. We like to focus on the minor league players. We start them at in the Rookie League and the Gulf Coast League and follow them right through to Lehigh Valley, watching them on MILB TV down here. So we've tried to follow the Phillies from the bottom up, not the top down. But now we're excited because it looks like at the top they're also bringing in top talent, and the trades that were made by the general manager Matt Clintack, have really been impressive, and we can't wait till the season starts. We have our MLB package ready, we have our minor league package ready, and we have our Clearwater Threshers season tickets paid for, so we're all ready to go.
And I don't think that any other general managers ever managed to get 3 All-Stars from the prior season signed in the same year as well, which is another record. I did see that since Thursday afternoon when they signed Harper, they've sold over close to 220,000 new tickets since then. So if you do the math, I think they're going to do okay. It's really going to help to pay off having Harper with this signing. I think it's going to bring ticket sales. There'll be more money. They'll be bringing in more money. So hopefully this is going to continue, and we're going to have a pretty good team for a while.
I think with McCutchen and Harper on the outfield corners, they're going to have a solid left-right batting balance in the lineup. Rhys Hoskins obviously going to produce better playing first base and struggling in left field. Gene Segura looks sharp at short, and hopefully Mikey Franco can put together a solid season at third base, and the rest is going to be history. JT Realmuto certainly has been impressive. He's considered the best catcher perhaps in the National League. So everything lines up. All we need is some good pitching, and obviously Nola and Arrieta. We saw Arrieta pitch today on the spring training game from Fort Myers. And
he doesn't seem to be showing any ill effects of that surgery he had in the off season.
He looked real sharp. So we're ready to go. We're ready to get the season. Let's get this party started.
Yeah, let's do that, because I'll tell you, for the first time in a long time, I'm really excited to see Phillies baseball and see what they have in store for this season. And with that, that's the end of this episode of Baseball Betsy and Ross Baseball Talk. Stay tuned for more episodes real soon. See ya.